All right. I figured it's been a while. I haven't been posting as much as I have been wanting to lately. I've just been kind of out of the flow. But again, that's what my channel's all about, is to let you know that you're not always going to be perfect. So I figured today was a good day to get back on and start doing some content. I was looking over some of the questions that people have about meditation the last couple days and maybe trying to address some of them. So I'm not really sure which ones I'm gonna do. I'm kind of going with the flow here to see what it is. But I know one of them is like what's the difference between meditation and prayer? And I mean, with me, I believe in a higher power, whatever that higher power is. I'm not quite sure. I just know when I try to commune with it and talk to it, that it kind of has ways of sending me things back. So I don't ask for specific things. I ask for guidance. I ask, what do I need to know? What do I need to learn? How can I create content that will impact others? Show me the things I need to teach. Just kind of stuff where it's more about asking, like, what it wants me to do. What does the divine source within me want? Like, what does it want to show in this world? Wayne Dyer used to always say that when he reached a point in his life, he realized that God writes all the books, that he just opens up the channel for the divine energy to come through him. So I believe that we all have the ability to do that. We just either aren't taught that or don't believe it. And I think it's that opening up that dialogue. So prayer is that kind of dialogue of asking for things. And again, of course, we're all going to ask for like other things like health. And I just feel like prayer is not really meant for material things, but maybe it is. I don't know. I still am on the fence when it comes to that. But I just kind of believe that you got to have your own, like, relationship with the divine source, whatever that is. So maybe someone's purpose is to do something other than what mine is, and there's nothing wrong with that. But when I ask for what my divine purpose is, maybe it is to get on here and speak about that. And I believe it is, or I wouldn't be sitting here speaking about it. So when someone asks what's the difference between meditation and prayer, I feel like prayer is asking, and I feel like meditation is receiving. Now again, like if you go into the whole brainwave frequencies, like right now, we're in beta waves, which is the very fast wave. I think I talked about this before, but for those that haven't watched, and then alpha is kind of the slower waves. So I kind of like to look at it in terms of beta waves are that fast moving thing that we have to do to get things done. It's that state of being that we have to get things done. It's the material world state of being. And I feel like God's energy is more of the slower waves of alpha and delta and theta. I don't know exactly all about them. I just know alpha is like supposed to be one of the most relaxed states that we have. So I feel like we can put our intentions out there, our prayers, and ask what it is that we need to do. Or I'm sure people ask for people to be healed and people to be saved and all that, or show that, like I ask people, help them, show them the way, because I don't always know what the best way is to help people, where I feel like God knows all of that. And in the past I was always afraid to use his name or her name, but I can't do it anymore because I believe. So I just gotta speak from the heart, speak from the soul on all this, because why not? And again, so I feel like when we get to that frequency, if I put the intention out there, I put the prayer out there in beta, which is what I'm in right now. I might be in a little bit of alpha because I just got done meditating. But I feel like that's the receiving thing. Like we speak in FM and God talks in AM, where FM is beta and AM is alpha. So if we want to receive more, maybe we get into the alpha state, and maybe that's where he'll talk to us. And again, I mean, I'm sure people have had their prayers answered without meditating. But I feel like meditation is more of that frequency of where the answers are, maybe where the divine is. Because in primordial sound meditation, which is what I started with a mantra, and they talk about before your soul, wherever it comes from, before it comes into this body that we're in, that you come from the gap, and in that moment you come through. Your soul comes into the body as you come into the world, or maybe you're in your mother's womb for the soul's in there, for a little while, 9 months or whatever, and then you come into this world. So they feel like you are like this perfect creation before you come into this world, and you're in that gap, that void where anything is possible, like almost like kind of like the Big Bang, like it's that potential. Before the Big Bang was the potential for the Big Bang. So before you came into this existence, there was a potential for you to come into this existence. And everything you needed was in that bubble, in that void, in that place where you were before you came into this world. So then you take the meditation and you meditate and you go back to that place you were at. And that's why they call it the gap, the void. It's that split, that space between worlds where you come into that. So I just went off on a tangent, but so you want to go back to that place where everything is possible, and I feel like meditation gets you that. So maybe that's where God exists in that moment. Maybe that's the in-between. That's where God's at, and then we're in this world. So if we want to go back to get the answers that he's trying to teach us, or she's trying to teach us, then we got to go to that spot. And that's what meditation does. It puts you in that frequency, puts you in that spot of pure potentiality where anything is possible, and then you bring this into the world. Like, I went to that spot before I started doing this video. I had no idea this is what the words that were going to come out of my mouth. I just kind of centered myself, told myself I needed to get back on here, because it's not about me. It's about creating content to help impact people and help people learn. And sometimes I forget that, is that when you make it about yourself, it gets more anxiety ridden. But when you make it more about other people, like, how can I be the best version of myself to serve and impact and get on here and create content that's helpful for people, then that's when you forget about all the anxiety and stuff that's going on the outside world, because you got to speak from the heart, speak from the soul, speak with conviction and passion, because we're all capable of doing this. And sometimes it takes time, and sometimes it takes practice. And that's why with meditation, if you really want to get the full results, you got to create a practice. But you got to have that intention too. Like, what are the things you're searching for? Prayer. What are the guidance? What are the things that I need? Like last night, I asked, show me what you need me to do, what you need me to teach. And I feel like I got to bring that more, because I've been spiritual for a long time, and I've just been afraid to let it out and let people know. Like, they might think I'm weird or woo-woo, but I can't do that anymore, because we all have that potential to tap into that spiritual side of ourselves. We're all connected to God. I mean, we're all co-creators with him. It's just how we choose to talk to, have that relationship with the divine, and focus in every moment and relax and be. And the more you meditate, the more you create that, the more that you create that connection at a stronger level. That's why creating a practice is so important. I mean, you can meditate here and there. You might be all right. I mean, when I first started, I would meditate here and there, and sure, you get a little bit of benefits, but if you really want to feel the complete benefits, you have to learn to meditate every day. And if you can't do it, don't beat yourself up in the beginning, because it took me it took me a couple of years before I was able to do it every day. And when I was in that state of mind, I definitely didn't believe I was ever going to be able to do it every day. I remember Wayne Dyer and Deepak Chopra used to always say, if you wanted to reach your highest level, you have to meditate every day. And I was like, are these MFs crazy? Because I couldn't even barely meditate for 5 minutes. How am I going to do it every day? And here I am, 18 years later, and it's been every day. So we all are capable more than we think we can, and sometimes you just gotta keep at it, and don't get too down when you're down, because for the last few weeks I've been kind of off and been trying to figure it out, and I guess I finally did. But no, so it's like, we always think we need to be perfect, and we're not ever going to be perfect. We have to keep growing. Sometimes in those like moments of where I wasn't on, I needed some stuff to grow, and maybe I needed some stuff to happen for me to get back on here and talk about it. Because I did learn about this thing to kind of get some ideas of what to talk about to answer people's questions. And I wouldn't have did all that if I didn't take a little bit of time off. But then you have to create momentum and keep going in the right direction. You just got to start somewhere, and day by day, and always remember that just because you're not where you want to be doesn't mean you can't get to where you want to go, but you have to start somewhere. And I realized that you got to start small. Like, just doing small stuff adds up. And again, it doesn't matter what it is, just little things. Even starting to ask, like, prayer, you just got to ask for guidance. And I've noticed in my life, like, I'll start to ask for guidance and stuff will start to go better. And then I'm like, okay, I don't need to do it anymore. And then all of a sudden, slowly, stuff starts to go, I don't get the guidance anymore. And then it's like, oh, well, maybe it was because you were asking. And like I say before, and like the Bible says, asking you shall receive. It is not empty words. But if you don't ask, you don't pray, you don't, have these intentions, then the answers aren't ever going to come. And again, just because the answers don't come overnight doesn't mean they're not on the way. Sometimes it takes time for the universe, the energy, God to, bring things to you. It's just that we are in that society where everything has to be instant gratification, dopamine hits, like TikTok and all that stuff. Videos are so short, and it's just, and again, I'm not downplaying it. Do whatever you want, but it's just that we're always looking for something. There's 800 things going on. It's like there's so much information that sometimes you get dragged into information that's not important. And it might be important to you, maybe it is, I don't know. But for me, I found that sometimes I get dragged into stuff where I'm like, and I'm sure everybody's had that thing where you hop on Facebook and next thing you know, an hour has gone by and you're like, holy, what happened? Where'd the hour go? And then you got to get yourself off. There's nothing wrong with social media. There's nothing wrong with doing what you got to do. But maybe put some constraints on it and time limits and stuff like that, because, sometimes we sit there and say we don't have enough time to meditate, we don't have enough time to do things, but yet we'll sit there and go on social media for like an hour when we could have just went on social media for a half hour and meditated for the other half. I'm guilty of it too, so guilty as charged. But there's barriers and stuff that we think we can't do, and where did I put that? I put the barriers over here. And sometimes all we got to do, like lack of time, difficulty focusing, impatient for results, discomfort and relentlessness, doubt and skepticism, perfectionism, lack of guidance, inconsistent practice. Those are like the 8 things that we put on here for barriers to meditation. Like I just said, we all believe we don't have enough time. You make the time. Trust me, I had to in the beginning too. Like, I was watching SportsCenter twice at night, so I stopped watching the second one, went to bed early, got up an hour earlier and did it. Focusing, it's always going to be hard in the beginning anytime you try to do something that you haven't done before. And again, it's just about more or less the process of breathing and concentrating on your breath, or having a mantra and doing it without judgment. You're not always going to have that focus. You're not always going to shut that mind off. Sometimes you just got to do the best you can, and eventually over time, the more you do it, the more you practice it, the better you get at it. And I've been doing it for a while, and there's still days where I have a hard time focusing. But then as I continue to breathe, I tell myself, all right, you just got to keep breathing. Remember, it's the process, and you just keep breathing and focusing on your breath and focusing on a thing. I was told by a monk that if you're having a hard time, like when you close your eyes, focus right here. Put your attention on right here as you're breathing. And he said eventually it'll, like, because that's where the energy comes in. He's like, that's a good place to start. And then again, impatient for results. Not every day, like I said, the answers aren't going to come overnight. If you put the intentions out there, who am I? What do I want? What is my dharma? What am I grateful for? These are some things I was told to write in a journal before you meditate, because it kind of puts that intention out to the universe. And then there's times too where you get a little bit deeper of the things you do want, the desires and all that, and then you let it out to the universe. But see, I was always impatient for the results. Oh, this ain't working. I didn't see it. I thought it was going to happen like as soon as I walked out the door. No, it's not going to happen. Sometimes it's going to take, and then sometimes it's happening, and since you think it didn't happen, but it hasn't come yet, you ignore it as if it's not what you were looking for. So again, it's that, don't be impatient, man. Go with the flow. That's what meditation is. It's trying to get you to relax into the moment and realize it's not as bad as you think it is at times. So, and then discomfort and restlessness, it's going to happen. The mind, the ego is going to do anything it can the first first 8 to 10 minutes. I'm surprised I don't slip more. The first 8 to 10 minutes makes it harder for you to slow down and settle down, because the mind's doing everything it can to get you up. And then once you hit that alpha state after 8 to 10 minutes, there's ways to do it faster, but on normal basis for people that haven't, that's usually how long it takes. So don't give up. And then eventually you'll relax, and then the next 12 to 15, whatever, however long you do it, 20 minutes, it's a lot easier. And then doubt and skepticism, and some people just don't believe it's worth doing it. I mean, I've seen a total change in my life over the years, so, and I know it helps blood pressure, it helps relax, it helps stress hormone release be less. It just gives you more peace of mind. I've noticed that I don't get the monkey mind as much. We all get stressed out, we all have problems, we all get thoughts that aren't true. But I've realized over the years, the more I meditated, the less those thoughts come in. They still come in. I'm not perfect. None of us are. So it's still, practice. Perfectionism, you always think you got to be the best. You got to do everything perfect, the perfect way. Embrace the learning process. Because again, like Wayne Dyer used to always say, I'm not perfect, but I'm better than I used to be. So I just strive to do that and realize that I'm just doing the best I can in every moment. Sometimes it's enough, sometimes it's not, but just do your best. Lack of guidance, that's why I'm here, because I kind of want to help guide you through it. I'm going to create more content now that I got some of these questions and ideas to write and to talk about. So definitely there's going to be a way to just keep going no matter what. The more you learn, the more, the better you get at anything. And then the inconsistent, like I said, sometimes you're going to get it, but I challenge you to do it for 21 days, because I know that's what I was challenged to do. And just after the 21st day, it just became second nature. Now when I get up, it is what it is. It's the first, unless I sleep through my alarm and I have to go to work, I always wake up early, and it's the first thing I do in the morning, because it's the best time to do it, because they used to call it RPM, rise, pee, meditate. I thought that was kind of funny, but that's the thing, is that don't look at your phone, don't turn on your TV, don't do anything, because do it first, because then it's done. And I've noticed in the past, when I haven't done it first, I have had those days where next thing you know, 2-3 hours goes by because of scrolling on social media, and then next thing you know, I'd be, oh man, I gotta meditate. And then it's even harder, because then you get enthralled by stuff that's going on the internet or on TV or all that stuff. So again, just with those 8 things, just be patient with yourself. If you aren't consistent right away, just try to get better at it, and do it when you can, until you can develop that practice into it. And don't be too hard on yourself, because we all go through stuff. We all fall off the momentum wagon, and you just gotta get back on it, like I did today. So again, always, no one's perfect. Just strive to be better and work at it the best you can, and be gentle and kind with yourself. So that's my message for today. Just keep working at it. Like and subscribe. You got any questions, write them in there, comment, whatever. I'll try to answer them, or I will answer them. But I just want to get more people doing this stuff because I feel like we live in a crazy time with stress and anxiety and all that stuff. And I think meditation helps regulate it. And I think asking for help, whether it be through learning, God, whatever it is, prayer, meditation, it all helps. So have a good day, guys.